the BrightLink software, the interactive driver and interactive tools on not RM Easy Teach, and I had RM Easy Teach on the other computer, but not the interactive tools. So we were switching back and forth between computers, and I had dead batteries. It was just kind of a mess. So sorry that last week was kind of a mess up, but we'll make up for it this week. And then after tonight, I think we're down to just 2 more weeks of class. Is that right? I think that's right, so I'm not hearing anybody disagree with me. So, but with that, has anybody had any questions come up, like with My Big Campus, adding YouTube videos, or just anything else in general you want to talk before we get into our lesson tonight?
Yeah, we still don't have the lights to bypass the blocking, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about.
For YouTube?
Yeah.
So, Jared, you were able to override, weren't you?
Not one day, but then the next day, no.
But then the next day you still couldn't?
Yeah.
Okay. I will, just right here while we're sitting here, I'm over to Joe and ask him to check on that. So, let's see what's...
Only certain times of the day that you can do it?
No, and I mean, things like YouTube, I thought Joe had YouTube set so that after like 4 o'clock it wasn't even filtered, but I could be, he kind of goes back and forth on changing things, so I'm not sure what the status of that is right now.
Yeah, it's on right now. It's over.
Yeah, during the day.
Lunchtime, and it's on.
Okay. Okay, so hopefully I'll get an answer back from Joe on that one. Any other questions besides not being able to bypass the filter when you've needed to?
I have a question, Scott.
Go ahead.
It's actually totally off topic, but
That's all right.
I know you're a smart guy when it comes to this, but do you have any idea if my class will end up getting Neo 2s anytime soon?
Let's see, you're which grade?
5th grade in Iona.
5th grade, okay. So the plan for the Neo 2s, it's probably still more at the proposal stage than plan stage, although it's closer and closer to a plan. But my proposal is that next year we'll do Neo 2s in every school 4th through 6th. Now, to pull that off, we're going to need some matching funds, not 50-50 matching funds, more like a 20-80 matching funds from PTOs and from schools to be able to get that done. And that's why it's still proposal, is because I need to, I've talked in general terms with principals about it, but not specific terms, and not actually here's the dollar amounts that you would need to provide. And so I was hoping to do that yesterday, but unfortunately I was in Boise for our principals meeting yesterday, and so it'll be 2 weeks from yesterday when I make that proposal to the principals and see if they're on board with it. Then I think that'll be pretty much a done deal. And then from there, then the second year we would roll out 1st through 3rd. So,
how was the principals meeting yesterday in Boise?
So I was over at, Jared and I were actually both over at the Technology Association. So it's pretty much the technology directors throughout the state, and then they bring over, people that handle their power school stuff, and a few other people like that. It was interesting. Most of it focused on the one-to-one plan for the high schools and what that's going to look like, and So there's a lot of that, and then there's a whole lot about our SchoolNet and the longitudinal data system from the state. So part of it was good news, part of it was we know you're not happy, but tough luck and figure out how to get it done. So, but it was a good meeting. That one-to-one in the high school is going to be a very interesting project. So, but I'm excited about the one-to-one with the NEOs in our elementary school. I think that's going to be a really great tool for kids. And I talked with the sales reps from NEO too. I talked with the vice president and our local sales rep last night, and I told them kind of what Idaho's doing, and gave them some specific things that they need to look at building into it that'll make them really useful. And with SchoolNet, for those of you that have been in there, right now you're just seeing your student assessment scores from the state, but it's really, that's just the tip of the iceberg with it, and it's really meant to be an online assessment delivery system. And the cool thing is, if Renaissance will do it, and I think that they will, just because of how big the market would be for them in Idaho if they were to do it, but kids could actually take a test on their NEO 2, have it go right into SchoolNet, and you'd have all those assessments right there too. So I know that Renaissance has their own Excel test, and that kind of is a similar thing to that. With SchoolNet, that's really going to be the collection point for all of our assessment data, so it could be a really cool thing to have those two things tied together. So that's NEO 2s. Any other questions just on anything technology related or teaching with tech related? Okay, well, are we ready to jump into class then? So with my big campus, I think the thing I'm going to show you tonight is how to create an assignment for your students, but I'm going to do that towards the end, because what I'll actually do is create our final assignment in there and then distribute it to you and show you how to reply to that. So with that, I'm going to jump back into RM Easy Teach, and it's been a couple weeks since we were there. Focused mostly on your setup side of things. So we'll take a little bit of time to review things in RM Easy Teach. And then I'm going to kind of take you through and just do a quick walkthrough of some demos just to show you the possibilities that are there. And then I'll show you how we did those things. So this is RM Easy Teach, and if I can get my mouse to work right. Did I get those out of order? Oh, it's this one. Okay. Okay. So I'm kind of got this started as a NEO 2 demonstration, but here's an example of some activities you can do with RM Easy Teach. So first one, I was just looking at 4th grade history curriculum and found some cool stuff on the state's website. And so you could do this as, let's say, like a pre-test, a pre-assessment to see if your students already know the information, and then, of course, you wouldn't have to teach it, or if they don't know it, or it could be a post-test. So we're going to do both. We'll start off with the pre-test, and then we'll go in and show you the post. So Idaho state symbols. What's the state horse of Idaho? Everybody saw the picture already because I didn't have my slide reset. So I put up the question there for students with 4 responses. And if you did have NEO 2s, this is where you could use something like the To Know toolbar and have students give a response, and then flip them back to RM Easy Teach. We can click on a link here and show them a hint for it, or the answer, which is the Appaloosa. Okay, so this is a combination of a text box that we have here, and we'll go back and we'll talk about how you add the text boxes in, but that's pretty simple. And then a text line up here, and then I inserted a graphic here and put a special effect with it, and that's something we'll cover tonight, and then another graphic there. So that's one example of an activity. Oh, and then I actually had this horse hyperlink, so if I click on the horse, then it'll bring up a little explanation about the Appaloosa. Okay. Then on my next slide, I have similar type of concept. Idaho state symbols. This is the state flower of Idaho, and what is its name? And so right now it's basically a fill in the blank. Anybody know it by chance?
Seringa.
Nice. I must have some fourth grade teachers there. I've also got, I could also use what's called the word wallet, and that's tools pre-set up. It gives me some predefined answers that kids can actually click and drag. So again, if you have your Easy Teach set up and you've got your pens talking with your projector, a student could come up to the board and they could click and drag the answer down into there. Okay, so that's the word wallet. And so to populate that, I just came up and came here and put in my answer. So if I wanted to put in a fifth one, I could just do that and click on add, and then that puts that up there as an option. Again, it's just basically a placeholder, a word bank for words, and then you can bring them down into your answer. Let's see what Joe says about our override group. Joe says, is that right? Can anybody in our class click the override when you go to YouTube during the day? Okay.
I was just able to right now.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah,
Oh, right now you could?
Yeah, right now, yeah.
Okay. So does everybody want to try that quick to just see if it's there for you right now?
YouTube, right?
Yes. Yeah, just go to youtube.com and see if it will let you override with your username.
What about if I have one attached to an email? Could I go to that thing? And then where it
Yes.
says District 93 denies access, I should be able to
Yes.
click here as well. It gives me the option to override. Just go to
Yeah, now see if your override works.
Oh, see if it
Just
works.
yeah, your
Okay.
username, password, see if it works, if it'll actually override it.
Yeah. It did,
It did work?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the override word.
But you didn't have to type it in, it was just there. You didn't have to put your password in.
I did have to put my password in.
Okay, so how's it looking? Does it look like everybody can do it now?
Not sure yet.
Okay.
I can't.
Who's that? I'm sorry, who was it?
It's Jeanette.
Oh, Jeanette? Okay.
Yeah, I never get a box that lets me type in an email. It says, I don't like you. No.
Sorry.
Oh, I guess those of you at home can't really try it, can you? So you might want to check that when you get back to your school computers, for those of you that are on the webinar, and see if you can do that or not. And if you can't, either shoot me an email or else shoot Joe Tamayo an email. So is Jeanette the only one in the lab that can't do it?
Anybody else can?
Yep, I'm good.
Everybody else seems to be okay.
See, I told you.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of them were saying they can do it during the class time, but during school hours, allowing them.
Okay. So Joseph's back. Okay, so that's the word wallet, coming back to RM Easy Teach. And on my next page, here's another activity. What is the state fruit of Idaho? Anybody know that one?
Yes. Huckleberry.
What is it?
Huckleberry.
Very nice.
I thought who was the state?
Got a little activity, and then a picture that I can show the kids.
It's right there. It's the E.
Okay. And so here's another activity, and this one is using the word wallet as well. So I don't know how many of you do, when I was teaching, we called them daily oral language exercises. Easy grammar, they have these types of exercises in it. And so this one is an exercise on semicolons. And then same thing, I just used wallet, semicolons, okay? And notice that the word wallet is specific to each page, and so I have a different word wallet here with a different set of things than I had on the previous one. And same thing, so students could come up and they could click and drag
Your tech tools.
I'm
the
looking back.
semicolons. Okay, so this, and now I'll come back and I'll review and show you how to do each one of these things, but that is under the text tools over here. So right now I just want to kind of give you a quick overview of the abilities that are there. And then I'll come back and I'll show you exactly how we did those. So, okay. And I think I have just a couple others. Okay, so that's the word wallet. And now the last thing I wanted to show you that's pre-built anyway are the widgets. And so this is the one I talked about last week. This is the randomizer widget. And so I have our class names in here and then some questions in here. So I can bring up the randomizer for a student. Austin, you might want to unmute your microphone here. Tell us what the state flower of Idaho is.
That is cool. What's that called again?
That's the randomizer.
Randomizer
Yeah.
in the widget.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, and again, we'll come back and I'll show you how to put each one of these things in here. So, okay, we'll see if we can pick up somebody else here quick. Monica, is Monica here? She's not. Is she in the lab?
No.
No, Monica. Okay, she's not online either. Michelle's online. So Michelle, if you want to unmute your microphone, and I actually didn't even show you that, so I'll have to show you that in a minute. State Horse of Idaho, Michelle?
The Appaloosa.
Nice, nicely done. So, and the nice thing with this is, and I'll show you this, but once you build it for your class, then you can keep your student names there, and then all you have to change are the questions. So we'll come back and again, I'll show you how to do some. That's something that's really engaging for students. Plus, it's great as far as teaching strategies. As we're looking at those JPAS indicators, one of the key ones is involving every student in the class. How many students actively participate in the class? And so this is an easy way. Even if the students aren't necessarily coming up to the board, if you're just up there and you're tapping on that, then you're making sure that you're randomly selecting the students in your class rather than just hitting those kids that are front and center and in your line of sight. So. Okay, and a couple of other widgets, and again, I'll come back and I'll talk about widgets, but these are just kind of some fun ones that are put in there. A nice little elementary level Sudoku where to teach patterns and higher order thinking even for our younger students. And so I don't know how many of you have played Sudoku, but this is really a pretty fun and simple way for students to really be thinking about that pattern and organization. And so they could just come and can interactively come up to the board and go through and do a Sudoku. So we'll come back and we'll catch all those widgets. One more that's really, I think, that's extremely useful and that people use a lot is a timer. And so there's a timer here. We should be able to, I think you click up here to start it. But notice, well, that's a 60-second timer. What if I want 90 seconds or 2 minutes? Analog, I want digital, and it's just a matter of coming, and you can digital, set it for as long as you want to. So this is one where the teacher in my last class did it for the fluoride. I can't remember how long you're supposed to switch fluoride, but she had a timer up there, and then there's actually alarms that you can put with it. she even had a like an inchworm that was going across the screen as she did it too. So we even changed the message that was there with it. How long do you swish fluoride for?
1 minute.
How long?
1 minute.
1 minute. Okay. So we'll let our kids off easy. We'll go down here to just 5 seconds so you can see what this will look like. And then you also have a count up or a count down. Okay. Okay. So, and again, I mean, you can just ways that you need to time things in a class, and I think that could be a very useful one for you. So let's go all the way back to the start now, and we'll just kind of walk through time and talk about how we do each one of these things. So is basically our list of tools available to us. We have the easy teach menu that has the different views, and you can actually insert slides or pages from other presentations as your save things. And this reset page one is a really useful one too, and I'll talk about that here in just a sec. Then the next one over was our drawing tools, and I think we covered those pretty well before with the eraser and the shapes, the different line widths and line colors and things like that. Was there anything that anyone had any questions on that, or that I needed to take some more time on the drawing tools? Does anybody remember how you would have students do a freehand drawing of, say, a circle and a circle? Anyone remember how to do that? Okay. Here on your options, you have your shape tools, and then you have a shape recognition tool. So you'd select this shape recognition tool, and again, if those pens are talking to the projector, it's going to work really well for kids. But they can come up and they can freehand draw a circle, and I wonder if I even got mine close enough. Oh, so it did okay for the lips. Okay. Now, does anybody remember how it picks up or how it knows what colors to put here? A black outline around a purple circle? Where would I go to check that or change that?
Bottom right.
Excellent, down here in the bottom right. So there's our fill colors, and we can switch those. There's our fill outline, and we can change that. And we could come back and draw a square now. Oh. Hard to do on a touchpad. There we go. Okay. So those are the drawing tools. And again, you have some options here as well, curved arrows. And once you draw it, if you want to change that, then you can come back here to your select tool. You should be able to click on it. And remember this, you have your four corners, and you have this top one, which is a rotation one as well. And then you have this little arrow one. That arrow one lets you do things like change the color of it, or align it with other objects, do reflections on it. And if I've got my undo button. Okay, so you have lots of ways to manipulate or copy or change that shape if you want to do that. You can even turn it into a hyperlink that could take you out to either a file on your computer. It could take you to a different page in your presentation. It could take you to the internet and do some other special effects, and I'll show you those here in just a minute. Okay. Then you also have your object ordering, and so that's where you can take this and here, and then we put this right here. Okay, so notice the layers there. And if I say, well, I want to bring, I want to send my arrow all the way to the back, then I can click on it. Again, use my little accelerator menu here, go to my object ordering, And my options are bring it to the front, send it to the back, or bring forward or send backwards. So if I say send backwards, it'll put it behind the square but keep it in front of the purple shape. You can see that. Or if I were to do send to back, then it's going to put it all the way behind everything. Or I can now bring it to the front and put it in front of everything. Okay, it's the way that you can stack things on top of each other on your page, and how you can control how they appear on that. Okay, so any questions about manipulating the objects or our drawing menu then? Has anybody tried doing your drawing menu with your students in class? No takers?
No one here.
Are there places where you could use the drawing menu in your class?
We're doing geometry right now.
Are you? Okay, so what kind of concepts are you covering in geometry right now?
Vertical angles, supplementary, complementary angles.
Excellent. Okay, good. Good. So you could use, you've got a few different shapes here that have angles in them. The parallelogram, and this could be a fun one, and we'll actually show. I think that's in the widgets where it'll actually give you the angles on it. Oh, it's right here. So if I use my select tool now with my parallelogram, and I click on this, do you see this little angle? This will actually show the angles on there. So you could have your kids come, and now they could actually click on that, and as they manipulate the shape of it, they could see how those...
Where do you get the shape tool again?
So we're here, the first part is we're here in our drawing tools mode right here. You see that? That's the pen. And so basically we have a few different right here, right off the bat. So we click on the pen, and then that brings up I guess a sub-menu, I would say, with different items in it. So you have just your basic pen tools, which is just a drawing without doing anything else except scribbling on the page. And then this one, which uses it as a highlighter, an eraser, fill. And so let's look at the fill one. I'm going to come back. I'm going to change. That's kind of a tight fit between my bottom menu and my Easy Teach menu. Okay, so now I've got it selected. So I'm going to drop my fill out of that. Okay, so now it doesn't have any fill, and let's go ahead and drop our fill out of this one.
Scott, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah.
I have my pen, and so I'm drawing on my board. Well, now I want my mouse, like what you have up on your screen, and I can't figure out how to change from my pen back to my mouse.
Okay, are you in RM Easy Teach or Easy Interactive Tools?
I'm in the same thing drawing what you're drawing. I'm in RM Easy Teach.
RM Easy Teach. Okay, so to switch from your pen to your mouse, this button right here is your select tool. So when you click on that, that's what will change it back to a mouse. And then when I come over here and I click on my pen tool or one of these shape tools, then it's going to be acting as a pen. Does that make sense? So right now, if I were to click up here, it's going to be drawing. If I want to select something, I'll come down here and I'll switch it to the select option.
Okay, thank you.
Now, the other part of that, another one here, and so this one is the select, which is to edit things, and this one puts it into play mode, select things, but it's going to, if these were hyperlinks or buttons or things like that, then I could, that would make it so that those start to work, to animate. Okay, so let's say I was demonstrating our fill tool. So I'm going to click here on fill tool, and I'm going to pick a color over here. let's go with blue, and I could just say, you know, Johnny, go up and color the oval blue. And so I just colored the whole screen blue. So he could come up and he could click inside that oval and color it blue. And then he could give the pen to somebody else, and you could say, color the square red, and they can click inside of it. So that's our fill tool. Or if they click outside, then it's going to fill everything there. So, okay, so that's the fill tool right here. And then our next one was the shape recognition tool, and that's where I drew the square and the oval, the ellipse. And then we have shape tools, and so these are predefined shapes. And notice the color changes according to the color I have selected over here. So if I want to do it in a different color, pick a different color, come back to my shape. And those are the different shapes that I could put in. So again, if I'm working with, you know, that concept of angles with my students, I have different options I could put in there. And then if I wanted to display the angles of that, I can come back to my select tool, click on it to select it, and have it display the angles. And then the other option is you can actually show the dimensions on it as well.
How did you do that?
And the ruler. So we have the angle button here, and then the dimensions ruler right here. I'm guessing if we click on this, that's probably going to be in our with those dimensions. I'm curious what the dimensions are. And I'll bet it's under our Easy Teach settings. So go to My Easy Teach, General Settings. I'll have to think about that one. I know I found that before, now I can't remember where I found it. I don't know if it matters a whole lot, but it could be, I mean, it could be, I'm almost guessing that could be millimeters. I'm not sure. Keep in mind this is a British company, so that could definitely affect some of the things that display on there. So,
Scott,
yes.
the ruler there is not lit up. It's the darker where you can't access it. And it's
So did you click on your shape?
click on the shape.
Click on your shape first, so that it knows what you're going to, where you want to show the measurements.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Okay, so again, any shape that has angles. If I turn this one on with our angles, notice it's grayed out because there's no angles there for it to recognize. But this one, there are some angles. So those are all the shape tools. Anything you want to spend more time on there?
Getting rid of this stuff.
Okay,
Erasing
great.
the screen.
So if you want to get rid of it, you have a couple of options. And so I'll go through 3 different ways to get rid of stuff. Let's say you only want to get rid of one object on the page. Let's say I'm talking about angles and I want to get rid of my circle because, or my ellipse because I'm not ready to deal with elliptical angles. So I can click on that and, click on that, and then I have selected. I can come down here, and that'll delete that. Okay.
We can see that.
Okay, let me go back. It actually deleted the whole slide, so okay, I'm going to click here to make sure I have it. So I'm clicking on it, and then right down here at the bottom right corner, you see that there is a garbage can.
No.
I'm not seeing that on my. In my mouth.
I have to move the toolbar over a little bit to get the garbage can.
So there's the garbage can right there next to my arrow keys. I can't see my. I'm actually watching my presentation on my iPad, and I can't see my mouse. Can you guys see it there at the tech center at all?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I can delete that one specific object. Okay. The other way to do that is if I click on it, I can use this accelerator menu again, and In this case, I'd have to cut it. It doesn't actually have the garbage right there, but cutting it would basically do the same thing. Okay, so that's one at a time. My other option is I can should be able to do a command or a control A, and if that's not a keyboard shortcut you're familiar with, that is a great keyboard shortcut. That selects everything on a page. So it doesn't matter if you're in Word, in an email, anything that you're in Windows, if you do a control A, it will select all of the objects there. And then I can do the same thing, come back and hit my garbage can. Okay? And then there's actually one other way I can do this. And this is kind of a, you'll see where this is actually even a more useful feature in a little bit. But here under the Easy Teach menu, there's this reset page. And so what the reset page does is it says, take this page back to where it was the last time I saved it. And so kind of keep that in mind. If you've drawn all this stuff and then saved it, this isn't going to work. But when I hit reset page, it'll take it back to my last saved state of the page. So I hit reset page and it says, are you sure? Yes. It's going to wipe it out because I haven't saved that since I put anything on there. Now the bad thing about that is I don't think I can. So once I've done that, it's pretty much gone. But there's some places where that'll be really useful for you. Okay, so that's the shape tools. Any other questions on the shape tools? Okay, let's talk about our text tools then. So on text, the first thing, and that's one thing with the Easy Teach, is sometimes they have some really kind of hidden buttons. I don't know that it's designed that well, because sometimes there's a lot of cool things you can do, but you don't know that they're there because they're kind of hidden behind other buttons. So for example, when I click on my text tool here and it brings up my text menu, I see this T here and I'm like, okay, that says text, and then I'm going to see these tools here. But that's actually a button with 3 other options underneath it. And so your 3 options are a text recognition tool, a text box tool, and just a text line tool. So again, especially if I'm teaching, first, second grade, maybe even into third, this text recognition could be a fun one where I click on that, and again, it's going to work much better with a pen at the board than it is with me and my touchpad, but I'm going to go ahead and attempt it on my touchpad anyway. And a student could come up and do an A on the board, and it will recognize that as an A. And then an N. Oh, see, that one didn't work very well. Let me do a little bit better handwriting here. That one should pick up. Okay, so again, it's going to work much better with the pen than me and my touchpad, but kind of a fun thing that some students could come up and actually write on the board with their own handwriting, as long as it's fairly close, or if they're following the handwriting structure that you've taught them, then it should recognize it. Okay, so that's free handwriting. And then the second, go ahead.
We lost the visual. We can't see what you're doing.
Cliff is gone.
Cliff is gone right now.
Cliff is gone.
Well,
Did the computer go to sleep? Because
yeah.
I'm still broadcasting, so you might just need to wake up the computer.
No, it's asking for his password now.
I don't know what Dan has. Is it under his name?
Yeah.
Great. That's funny. Well, time for a potty break. If anybody needs a potty break, now's a great time to take one. That's too funny.
Thank for
I'm texting him right now, so.
I think I like this best.
You going here?
Well, it's a beautiful day in Sun Valley.
Much for Boise. You know, these some that you put them in, something that's there.
It's already done. It will be go down to presentation and click on activities. You just said you try and save it right now. You don't want to save it, so exit. And then go back. Press no. And go US English. Interact this. Drop the word. Really quick. Okay. Now click on it. The page down there. The page. Go to the second page. Up right there. And then how long you that's good. And then various games to where you're playing a team against a team. You want them, they have to use the scoreboard. And then you figure it out, and they have that much time to get in.
Yes.
And then they go back and forth. It stops the time when they get the right answer. If they don't get the right answer, it goes, and they have to get it right. And they go back and forth. It's really fun game. My kids like that.
And they used to,
Whiteboard pen
because
game.
sometimes you
It'd be better if you get both pens to work. Both my pens, I only want one. They put two in my runs.
oh, I know.
You can maybe ask. Yeah.
Because I
Yeah. Try out the other ones though. Activities, let's say.
when do you have time to play games?
For my math lesson.
Almost wonder if I should have to read with the computer, Jared.
Huh?
Did Cliff say where he was going or anything?
No.
Wonder if I should have you read.
Oh, here he is.
Okay, great.
You want to
You
see
don't know
the-
your password?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Jeanette, Joe just sent me an email and said you should be in the override group now, so.
Okay, I'll try.
She's still not.
I'm still getting the sorry signal.
And that's the internet. Try, what if you should close all the way out of Internet Explorer and try it again?
I just did. So
Did you? Okay, I'll follow up with Joe and see. Okay, does Cliff have us back up and running?
Yeah, we're going. Sorry,
Okay.
Lane grabbed me.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so did you see the freehand tool then before the computer went to sleep on the text?
yes.
Did everybody see that?
Yes, they did.
Okay. And so then our other options then, so that's our freehand tool. So that would be students up writing on the board in their own handwriting and then seeing if the software will recognize it. And then we have a text box tool, which is just very similar to doing a text box in Word or in PowerPoint, where you just come up and you can draw a rectangle. And again, down here, if you notice, I've got my font size, and then I can type into the text box. Okay, and then I've got that I can again click on and resize. I can change a lot of the same things like we did before. So we can change the text color in it. We can change the text line. One thing we don't have with text boxes that you would be used to from, say, PowerPoint or from Word is there's no fill on a text box, so they're always going to be transparent. Okay, so it's not even a white background, it's a transparent background in the text box. Okay, and then the last one, your last option here under your text menu is just a text line, and in this case I'm just going to come up and click and start to type. So really the only difference is one's inside of a box with the box around it, and the other one's just kind of sitting out there, floating out there on your screen, but you can still come back and click it and move it around. But notice now my line is transparent here, and I don't think I can add a line to it if I remember right. Yeah, notice it's grayed out here. Oh, let's see. Yeah, it stays grayed out because it's a text line. I do think I can convert it to a text box. So if I click on that and then you can bring up my accelerated menu down here at the bottom, I can switch that to a text box, and now I have that option to have the line around it. Or I can switch it back to text. Okay. Now one other cool thing you can do with text is, and again, it's one of those things that it could be a good idea or it could be completely useless, I don't know. But here under your accelerator menu, there's an option to read the text box. And so if I click on that,
this is a line of text.
It'll read to you. Now I don't know if that would be useful or not because it's not that great of a voice with it, but
this is a text box.
It's at least an option. So okay. Okay, so that's the basic stuff with text, and then and again you have your same formatting options for text down here. You can switch it to italics or underline it, make it bold, whatever you want to do there. And then you have an option here for how to align it. So you have left alignment, center alignment, right alignment, or justified. Okay, probably be a little bit more evident on text box. Okay, you do have some bullet options there as well. Okay, now I'm going to come back to my Appaloosa paragraph because that'll be useful to demonstrate some of these other tools that are. Okay. The other thing that we have, this is also our text-to-speech box. This is our word wallet, and then notice here, this is another good example of how you have kind of almost a hidden button, but you have a button here that's going to bring up a bunch of more options. And so if you click on that, the first one you see is a close tool, and that's really a pretty useful tool. I'll come back and I'll show that to you. You actually have a spell check underneath that. You have your word wallet there. Let me select our text here because I think you're going to need to select it to get all of those tools. Okay, then I'll come back and I'll click on our tool option here. Okay. This one will remove capitals from the selected text. This one is a read with me option, so you can highlight certain words to have it read instead of reading the whole thing. You've got your highlight where you can highlight what you've selected in there, a subscript and a superscript option, symbol option, a text-to-speech, and then this one allows you to remove all the punctuation from the text as well. Okay, so we'll come back and again show you that, and then you have your bullets and your alignment. So let's start with this one of removing the punctuation. So I'm just going to do it on, let's do it right here just on this section. Okay, so I'm going to get these two sentences just so it's not too overwhelming. And I'm going to come down to my text options and tell it to remove this selected punctuation. And now I've got another pop-up here, and I can tell it what punctuation do I want it to remove. So I can focus on specific pieces of punctuation if I just want to work on periods or colons. This is what I did before with the semicolons. I just picked the semicolons. Or you have a button here that's going to pick everything. So you can pick a specific, or you can say take it all out. So we're going to take it all out, and notice it's gone. Now you might not think that's very useful because really all we did is just delete it out and there's not much to do with it. But what it does is it doesn't just delete it out, it puts it into our Word wallet. So now when I click on my Word wallet, here's all that punctuation I just took out. And students could now come up and drag that punctuation back into it. Well, it didn't want to come with me for some reason. Okay, so that's that could be a really fun and interactive way for students to do, again, their easy grammar, especially working on punctuation or things like that. And again, we also have that similar tool. So if I come back to my text tool, my little here, then I have that same option to do it with capitals. Now notice that's grayed out. I can't do anything, and the reason I can't do anything with that is because I don't have any text selected. So I need to first tell it which text do I want to pull that out of, and then it'll pull the capitals out. So let's do this paragraph for capitals. So I'm going to click inside my text box. I'm going to select this paragraph. Come to my text tools and tell it to remove the capitals. Okay. So I thought that would. So I'm going to click and do a couple times here. Okay, I'm going to try it one more time and just see if it puts it into the Word wallet or not. I thought it would, but maybe it won't on capitals. Yeah, so capitals won't go into the Word wallet, just the punctuation. But that's where you could come in. And now so you could run that in conjunction with your drawing menu and just pick, let's just say we want to do pens. We're going to do it in red. We'll keep them a pretty small line up here and just tell students come up and circle the words that should be capitalized in that. So they could come up with their pens and start to circle the letters that should be capitalized. Or do the triple underline of the editing marks. Okay. So other things that are in that text menu are so again, I click on my text button here first, and then I've got this pop-up here, and we've got the reads with me. So I can click on that and say just read this part. Not sure why that's not reading. I should be reading. Maybe that's for teachers. Okay, so I think that in that case, what that's actually doing, sorry for that, is you would come up and say, okay, class, let's read this together, and then you can come up and click on the words with your pen and say, the state horse of Idaho, and so it's going to highlight those words one at a time. I thought that the voice read with you, but in this case, it's actually that. If you want the voice to read with you, then again, you come to the text-to-speech, then do this.
The state horse of Idaho is the Appaloosa. The Appaloosa is a fast, intelligent, and hardworking breed. The Spaniards brought these horses to America. The Nez Perce Indians began to train and breed them. Today they
Okay. Options under that, so you have, you can do the selected text only. You could do the single word upon a mouse click. You can turn it off or turn it on. So let's come back and do this one now.
state force of Idaho is the Appalachians.
Okay. So I think those are most of the text tools that are there. But something else, I missed the close tool. That's one of the best ones there. So let's look at the close tool, and that's this first one here. And what that does is it's going to take out a word at a time. So let's go ahead and reset my slide. And so again, this is a good example of where resetting a slide can be useful, because we've come up and we've circled, we've drawn on it, like, okay, I just want to clear that off, but I don't want to go and pick everything and erase it. That's where I can come back to my, tell it to reset the page, say yes, and boom, I'm back to where it was to start. Okay? And so let's say now instead of using this as a grammar exercise, I want to use it actually as a comprehension exercise. So after we've read it, I can come up and say, grab the close tool and say, okay, I want to take out certain words. So I'm going to say, we're going to take out Appaloosa there, and we'll see who brought him to America and which Indians. Okay, that's probably good. Okay, so again, just like I did with the punctuation now, it didn't just delete those words out, it dropped them into our word wallet. So here's the icon for the word wallet, and I can bring those up and have kids click and drag those back in. And now if I wanted to make it more difficult, or if I wanted to put in some distractors, I've got my real answers here, and I could just come back up and put in some distractors here. So it's not just a matter of, oh, well, duh, there's the answer to it. We could actually put in some distractors and see how well students remembered it. Okay, so now I've got some distractors in there, and I put in Shoshone here. Okay, and now it's not going to tell them that that's wrong. So as a teacher, I'll stop to come back and let students know, no, sorry, that one's not the Shoshone. And I could grab my close tool again, drop that out, and say it was the Nez Perce. Okay. And so this is a good example where, so if I didn't have to do this over and over again, what I would do is use my close tool, drop out those words I want to drop out, so I'm not sure how this one's out over there, so I wonder if I don't have, I'm going to come up and edit my text to make sure I've got a space in between those. So I'm just button here, click up here, make sure I get a space in. Now I should be able to drop that one out. Okay, that's better. To America. Nez Perce. Okay. Now, so I've got my distractors here. I've got the words dropped out. So now if I come and I save it, okay, and then let's say my students come in and they put in some wrong answers. Click on the play button. Okay, so the Russians brought these to, and the Sioux Indians. Okay, so I've got those in there, and you're like, and so you're saying, no, let's have Johnny got those wrong. Janie, do you want to come up and try it? So this is a good example where I can come back and I can hit my reset page, and it's going to put it back to where it was when I saved it last. So now I'm back to my blanks in there. Does that make sense? on how you would use that save back to its last save state. So really what you want to do is get your activity set up all the way to where, okay, this is exactly how I want it to look when my students come in and start the activity, save it there, they can come up and they can do the activity, and then if you do your reset page, then it'll clear whatever the students have done and give you back to a nice fresh start with it. Okay, so far so good. Any questions on the text? Those are the pretty much all the text tools I wanted to cover. Any questions from anybody online or in class? Okay, Cliff, we're all good there?
Yep, all good.
Okay. Okay. So then the next thing that we'll talk about are the effects. And so I'm going to come back to this slide right here. Now, special effects are these ones with the stars. Okay. And what we'll do with these is in using our tool here, we can click on an item, and this is the difference here between the select tool and the play tool. So on select, I can click on that and I can now edit it, I can rotate it, I can do things. If I switch back to my play tool on it, it's going to the effect that I've chosen. Okay, two different buttons down to edit things, to play things. Okay, so I'm going to kind of click on this, and click on this, and now I'm going to come to my special effects. And you can, okay, so the first thing is this left menu is what do you want it to do, and then the next box over is how do you want to do it. So when I click on this object, okay, so notice I don't have anything selected here on my screen. I'm going to go ahead and close my Word wallet. So I don't have anything selected, and so there's not, I can't make this pop-up menu work. So I need to first click on whatever it is I want to apply the effect to, and now I've got a menu here I can work with. So these are the different special effects I can put in. I can turn on or turn off an effect. I can hide and reveal something. I can link it to a page, which would be another page inside of my EasyTeach file. I can link it out to a website. I can link it to an EasyBook. I can open an external file, so like a Word document or a PowerPoint or a PDF file, anything that's a saved file on your computer. You can click on that and then it'll open that program on your computer. Okay. You can make it select a particular mode, or you can have it send the object forward or backwards. So all those things could be useful tools depending on what you want to do with your class. Okay. So in my case, what I said is enable or disable an effect, and then effects here that I can do. And so we could have it change the color on it. Okay. And it just change the picture. I could have it, let me come back to my select tool so I can grab that. Special effects. And you can just play with those on whatever you want to do. You can do a blur on it, a zoom blur, a mosaic effect. And then you've got some options here on how much you want to distort it. All the way to the left would be very little, all the way to the right would be extreme. So let's say I want to go back to that level, click OK. So I've got my question, and when I click on the play button, we'll turn off. Okay. So basically, in this state, so that students don't see it, I can ask the question and then click on the picture. Okay. Again, there's lots of things you can do with that besides just the effects. There's different effects that you can use, and most of those will, blur or conceal what you're showing. Okay. But other things, again, like I said, you can not have it do an effect at all, but you could just have it, let's do a hide or reveal object. This is kind of a cool one. So if I do hide or reveal object, the first thing, and this gets a little bit confusing sometimes for people, is they're saying, what do you want to hide or reveal? So I can either hide or reveal what's already selected, okay, or I can hide or reveal a different object. So let me come back and show you how this would actually work. Let's say that I want to click my question mark and have that show my picture here. Does that make sense? So basically, this is going to completely disappear from my page. You're not going to see anything here. But what I'm going to leave is a question mark that's essentially going to act like a button. When I click on that question mark button, it's going to show whatever is here. So now I'm going to come to my effects here. I'm going to say hide or reveal an object. And now it says, okay, do you want to hide or reveal the selected object, which now my question mark is what I have selected. So I don't want to hide or reveal my question mark. I want that to be there the whole time. So I want it to do a different object. And now it says, please place the picker where you want on the object you want to hide or reveal. So this is a click and drag. So I just click on that target, drag it to my object I want to hide or reveal, let go of it, and click OK. Okay. So now when I click on my question mark, it's going to hide or reveal this. Okay. Now notice it's not doing it now because I'm in select mode. Just switch over to my play mode. Now when I click on that question mark, it's going to hide or reveal that. Okay. Now that's not very useful because this is still a blur. So that picture and hide or reveal my huckleberries. Okay. So I'm applying the effect on this, but when I click this, it's actually applying that effect to something else on my page. Any questions on that? Okay. Let's see if there's anything else I really need to show with the effects. I think everything else, the hide and reveal is probably the most complicated out of any of them. But you can do a similar type of thing with sending objects forward or backwards. And so I don't know if I have a good example ready to go for that. But it's where you could basically do the same thing. You can take this object or another object, and just like we did with our layers on our shapes, we can move those forward or backwards. So I cleared off our shapes here, didn't I? Let's do a new slide, and I'll just show you maybe quickly how that would work. So I'm going to come here, here, and click on this one to do a new slide. Okay, we're just going to grab a blank page here, and we're going to come back to our shapes and click on our drawing tools. We'll just go to our predefined tools quick, and let's do a parallelogram. And a okay. And now I'm going to throw in a text box quick. We get again. Okay, I don't see where I have my option. Remember, it's kind of hidden here under this T. We'll do a text box, and we'll do this. We'll say parallel. Boy, that's going to test my spelling, isn't it?
Oh.
Parallel. Is that close? Do I have too many R's?
One R, two L's.
Okay, so I was thinking that looks like too many R's to me. Okay, and click tool here. Oh, shoot. Text box. Okay, and then just to get some more feedback to students. And again, another JPass indicator, and that's one of the cool things I think about this software is if we really look at it, approach it from that, what are the most effective teaching strategies I can do with this? So I'm looking at, involving multiple kids. I'm looking at providing feedback to students and those kinds of things. Then it really becomes a useful tool. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to come back to my shape tool. Notice I'm in my text tool here. Come back to my shapes and display my angles on that. Okay. And one more. I'm going to do one more set of text here. So I'm just going to do just a text line at the top and say okay. Just trying to think about bringing these forward and backward. Okay, I'm going to, if you'll bear with me for 1 second, I'm going to show you kind of how all those things will come together now. I'm going to go ahead and menu again and display my angles on this one. Okay, so now I've got my right answers displayed up there, but I don't want my students to see the right answers, obviously. So I'm going to use my tool here, and I'm going to duplicate that. So
Get that up right there.
say that again.
How did you get that up? What you're working on right now? Box.
So I clicked on it here, and then clicked on this option here. Okay, and then I have a duplicate selected object item here. Okay, so I'm going to click this one, and I'm going to turn off my angles. And let's just make it slightly bigger to hide those angles out from the back of it. Okay, and let's do the same thing here. So I'm going to click on this little button here. I'm going to use my duplicate option, and I'm just going to select the one in front, and I'm going to turn off my angles, and make it slightly bigger. Okay, I'm going to have to do one other trick here just to make this work exactly the way I want it to, and that is temporarily I'm going to move these off of it because I'm for those shapes. I've got my activity. Basically, my activity is going to be I want students to come click on the answer here and have it tell them whether they were right or not here. Okay, so the question is which shape will have a 90-degree angle on it? Here's my answer down here. Okay, so I'm going to click on parallelogram, a special effects. Okay, and my action is going to be send an object either backwards or forwards. Now that's actually going to make it a little bit simpler. Let me just go ahead and put these back over the top now because I can send them backwards. So now I have shapes in front that are hiding the correct answers. Okay, so I'm going to click on this. I'm going to tell it, let's do a special effect. We're going to send an object. And it says, okay, do you want to send this text block backwards, which isn't going to do anything because there's nothing behind it, or a different object? So we're going to say we're going to do a different object. We're going to grab our target and put it on top of our parallelogram here. Click OK. And then we'll do the same thing for our triangle. Send an object backwards. We're going to do a different object, and we're going to drag our target onto this one. Okay. Okay, so now I've got everything set. I'm going to save this right there because that's how I want it to appear when my students are doing the activity. So if I save it, then after students do it, I can simply come back and tell it to reset the page, and it'll come right back to this activity. Okay, so now I'm going to come down to my play mode here, click on that. Which shape has a 90-degree angle in it? And let's say they pick the parallelogram. Boom, there's the answer, and there's no 90-degree. Okay, so now they pick right triangle, and there's their 90-degree angle. And then if I want it to go back, I can just come to this one, tell it to reset the page. Yes, and it's ready for the next one. Okay, so those are the special effects. So just kind of some cool things you can do to, again, provide that feedback to students on whether they got the answer correct or not, in kind of some creative and interactive ways. And those are just some of the ways you can use those special effects. Lots of things you can do are, like I said, opening up files. This is where, let's say you had a video saved in My Big Campus. So you could create your whole interactive lesson here in RM Easy Teach, and then you could use that. Let's say you found a video on huckleberries. Then you can click on, got to get out of play mode. Okay, so now I could click on, come to this and act on it. I could say I want it to link to a web page. Oh, sorry, that's a page inside the presentation. We want to link to a website. And then I would just copy and paste the address for that My Big Campus video here. So let me just walk you through that quick so you can see exactly how that would work. So I'm going to come back to my page, and I'm just going to go to the library and see if I can find any kind of video on huckleberries. This will be of My Big Campus. Huckleberries. Yeah, nothing. Try Huckleberry. There's a Mr. Huckleberry. Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Huckleberry Finn. Yeah, I think it'd be kind of hard to get a video of a huckleberry now that I think about it, but just for the heck of it, we'll go ahead and go to this video just for demonstration. Okay, so now we have a video here on Huckleberry Finn, and I want to use this, so I want to link back to this one. Okay, so all I need to do is I need to come up here to my address bar in Internet Explorer, whatever browser I'm using, and I can should just be able to do a double click and highlight that whole thing, and then a right click and copy it, and then I can come back to my Easy Teach. Click OK. And let me get rid of that effect. Okay. So same thing work as if right now I'm in my select option here, and hey Jared, you got an update about church ball tonight, so you might want to check your email. So I want to switch my select button to my play button, and now the Huckleberries Internet Explorer and a video about Huckleberry Finn. Not that that's very relevant to. That's how you. So that's how you can really tie everything that we've talked to back together. Everything that we've talked about. Okay. So from there, that's pretty much the special effects that I wanted to cover with you. Next one is just the fun one, and it's I'm going to let you guys just explore with that. The widget bank, which is this little power cord plugin, and there are 40 different widgets in here. Some of them are more educationally sound than others. There's a lot of fun games in there, just lots of different things you can do, and you really can't mess anything up. They're just really kind of predefined little, they're basically just a program that runs inside of there. But you can click through all of those and you can see the different things, and these really work great in combination with other activities. So this is another way you could actually YouTube video into it, or My Big Campus video. You can actually put your browser, put a little browser window right in there. So I can click on that to add it, and right here I can take that same web page and paste that, click on play, and now it's actually going to launch that same video that we were just watching right inside of my Easy Teach lesson. It's taking a minute for my computer to spin up here. I think I froze up my computer maybe. Huh. And then you have a forward and backward. So it's a really basic browser. I mean, it's definitely not the same thing as Internet Explorer, but if you have a video, it should be able to launch that. So, not sure what's going on other than I can hear my hard drive spinning. So I don't know if that didn't like something about that or. Yeah. But there's, like I said, there's tons of different. 40 different widgets that are in the widget bank. Calculator that's there. A simple little chart maker, which is kind of a cool thing if if you're studying statistics about anything, or if you're doing a social studies lesson or a math lesson. In fact, one kind of fun one that we did in a previous class, and I'll just show it to you briefly, just to give you an idea about how things can work in combination with each other. I'm going to go ahead and close my widget bank. Okay, I'm going to click here on a slide. And I'm just going to go ahead and delete this whole slide out because it's kind of putting havoc on my computer. Okay, here's a timer. I'm going to go ahead and delete the timer off. Now, this is one thing with the widgets, is they behave a little bit differently than the other objects we put in. So I'm clicking on it, and notice I'm not getting my 4 handles. Widgets have basically one button to click. When you click the button, then it brings up your handle. So you have to kind of look for that circle that's up somewhere on a corner on it. And then it gives you those same 4 handles that allow you to resize it, duplicate it, and do those kinds of things with it. So look for those handles. We'll go in there by clicking on my garbage can. Okay, I'm going to come back to my widget bank, and I'm just going to on probability with a chart. So let's do okay, so here's our chart maker. So we're going to click on that little pop-up arrow to put it in. Okay, and there. So I'm going to come back to my widget bank and my dice and pop that one in. Now dice are kind of cool. When I was teaching, I literally, laying around just to do, random types of things. You can add in multiple pairs of dice on this, and so you can add it up to put in a 3rd one or a 4th one, however many combination you need to get there. Let's go ahead and do 3, and then I'm just going to come up here to my chart, and I'm just going to put in roll 1, roll 2, roll 3. I think I'm going to go all the way back to just 1 die. Roll 5, roll 6. Okay. So again, just a quick way we can teach students probability. Okay, so I've got my die here. I've got 6 rolls I'm going to do here, and theoretically, you should get 1 number each time, statistically. But let's see what happens. So I can tap on my die. It rolls the die for me. First roll, I got a 2. Okay, and here it starts to chart it for me. And I can tap it again. 5. Here, put in my 5. Tap it again. I got 1. Okay, and maybe a bar chart isn't really what I'm looking for. Let's say that this is going to go better with what I'm doing.
How did you switch to that?
Down here I have my options. So there's 3 basic types of charts. There's a bar chart, a line graph, and a pie chart. It's kind of interesting because it's treating those as numbers instead of, anyway. maybe what we want to do, that's not quite looking like I want. So let's say I want to do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are my actual numbers, and this is how many times that we hit them. That's going to show me better what I want. So we hit that one once, and that one once. There we go. Now we've got our thirds. Or I could do a bar chart or a line graph. Okay, so either one of those are going to work fairly well. I think pie chart's going to show us probably the best what I'm trying to illustrate to students. Okay, we'll tap it again. This time we got a 4, so we hit a 4 once. Tap it again. Hit a 1 again. And just to finish it up here, hit a 1 again. Okay, so again, just you can see how you can use those widgets in combination with each other to do some really kind of fun interactive things, and especially if if you have the students right up at the board, with the pens, you could have one rolling the die and one of them putting the numbers in, or however you wanted to do that. So play with those widgets. I think you'll find things that are fun and definitely useful for you. Don't know how many of you are doing the music lessons in your class, but there's even a piano widget, that one or not. But there's a keyboard widget where you can actually put a keyboard right up in your class, an interactive keyboard, kind of like that I grew up on, and you can actually choose how you want it to sound here. Let's do just a regular old piano. Scroll down a little bit more, I think. There we go. And you can actually record what the students play. You can have it show the notes on the piano. You can stick a drum beat with it. Okay, so again, with being tasked with doing the music classes in your classes right now, it could be a fun way that you can incorporate that into some time in your classroom. So that's the widgets. So really all that leaves us is the scrapbook, and I'll come back and I'll talk about the scrapbook. Do you remember how to put pictures in on your, it's probably the last thing I should cover. Go ahead.
How do you delete the widget, like if you don't want the
Okay, yep. So again, it's a little tricky, but so you'll need to, first of all, switch between, again, the play mode, which is going to play it, and the select mode is the first thing. And then when you do that, you'll see this little gray circle up in the top left corner, and you need to click on that. And now I've got it selected, and I can delete it by coming down to my garbage can, or I can hit my arrow key here and do the cut option if I want to do that. So those are a little bit tricky with widgets. They, like I said, they're different than everything else, and all you have is this little circle up in the top left corner to grab. And as soon as you grab that, that's when you've got, then you can do the full menu. Okay. Does everybody remember how to put a picture into RM Easy Teach?
No,
Anybody need me to go back and review that?
none of us know how, so you might as well.
Okay, so a couple of things you can do. Let's just go with the simplest way. Simplest way, like anything else on a piece, is simply copy and paste it. So let's say I was doing that syringa activity, and so I just come up here and I do a syringa flower, the flower, and I right-click on that, and copy it. I can come right back into our and now in RM Easy Teach, I don't know if you can right-click. I'm on my Mac, and it's not letting me right-click, but I have a paste option right here. So that's just about as simple as it gets. Okay, but let's say I already have the picture saved on my computer, and I just want to bring in a picture that's on my computer. In that case, I'll come down here to this multimedia resource bank, which is the, okay. And I'm glad we covered this because there's a couple things you can do here. So one, if you do happen to have a scanner or a document camera that's connected to your computer, you can use that. Now, here's the caveat, is probably most of you do not have a document camera that's actually attached to your computer. Most of our doc cameras are at the front of the room, and the teacher's computers are over on the side. So the doc camera is connected to the projector, but I don't think we have very many that actually have that USB cable running back to the computer. Does that make sense? If we did, then you could actually use your doc camera. There's a little icon to take it, or a little button to take a picture, and that would actually send that picture back to your computer. Now that I'm saying that, I wonder if we should have done that. So try it out, and if that's something you think, if you know that you have that ability and that's the ability you want to have, then this is the whole discussion we had last week over in the district office. Because basically people wanted to be able to use their interactive pens with their dock cameras, but those are, you really either have your computer or your dock camera, but if we had that USB cable running back to your computer, you could take that picture and send it to RM Easy Teach. So something to think about. You can use a microphone or audio device to record a sound. If you wanted to record, say, you reading a story and have the words up on the screen, then that's something you could absolutely do. And in the back of my mind, I've got some other higher priorities, but I really want to get microphones into every teacher's classroom for these kinds of activities, but also to do webinars and that kind of training as well. And then same thing, if you have a video camera, a video device, whether it's a webcam or something else attached to your computer, you could actually use that. I am on my Mac, and so I have a webcam right here, so I'm just going to click that button so you can at least see. Oh, but that's over on my Mac side, and I'm on PC side, so that's not going to work here either. Maybe I'll show that to you next week from the Mac side. Okay. And then you have this option for My Files. And now a couple of things. You notice you have My Files, and then you have import something from your computer into the multimedia bank. And I'll just talk about the difference between those two things. But let's start with My Files. If I click on that, it's going to launch basically a little Windows Explorer box, and I can come back and I can find where I might have some pictures saved. Okay, so just reactivate picture on there because I know you're missing person. Okay, now let's say, wow, that's a lovely picture, and I want to use that all the time, and I don't always want to have to go back to my computer to find that. What I can do then is under that Easy Teach menu, this button's for. So in this button, I'm going out and I'm finding pictures that are just saved on my computer, but if I know there's something I'm going to use a lot over and over, I can click on this one and say, let's go ahead and bring my picture in, and now it's going to put it really in a library specifically for RM Easy Teach. Okay, I can give it a category if I want to. I'm just going to leave it in imported items, and I can put in some keywords like favorite teacher. Click OK. And now it's in my media bank. So now, instead of having to go and find that on my computer, I can simply find it here. I can search for teacher, and there it is in my media bank, and I can insert it that way. Okay, so it's a little bit more to do it, but if it's a picture you really see yourself using over and over, and it's a good example again. In fact, let's run through this example. This would be a better one than my picture anyway. Let's say I'm a 4th grade teacher and teaching Idaho history. And so I want a map of Idaho. Now, chances are, since this is a British company, they're not going to so I'm going to find, it's going to be like my, oh, here's a great one. It's a good size. Excellent. So I'm all the time. So I'll find out on the internet first, and then I'm going to right-click on it, save the image as. Lots of times people pay attention to where they're, make sure I know exactly where I'm put it here in my Dropbox. Idaho, and click Save. Okay, so now it's there. And now I'm going to come back into menu. And come down here to a blank slide. And I'm going to click on my multimedia resource. So it's not here because I haven't added it yet. So I could add it by coming to My Files and Computer, but again, I have to do that every single time I want to use that. And so you know what, I'm teaching Idaho history, I'm going to use that map all the time. We're going to be reviewing the Idaho counties. So I'm going to put it into my widget bank. So now I'm going to click on that one. Process is the same to start. Keywords to put in there. And I can change the title of it if I want to make it a little bit easier. So I'm just going to say Map of Idaho. I'm going to actually make it simple. Idaho map. Okay. And now under a category, I wonder if I can Idaho history, and I'm going to put for my keywords counties. Okay, so I don't know if everybody can see that, but I changed the title of it to something I could remember. I didn't stick with the title it gave it. I created my own category called Idaho history. So now I know anytime I'm teaching Idaho history, I'm going to have a collection of my pictures that go to that. And then for keyword, I just put in county so I can find that quickly later if I want to find it by keyword. Okay. So now it didn't put it here, but I can come down here. Lots of different ways I can search for it. I can click on My Media Bank. I must put it in the Easy Teach one.
It's because you still got here's the keyword.
Oh, sorry, the keyword. Thank you. So that should be in mine, I would think, because I imported it. So I can come here and I can say My Media Bank, and here's my Idaho map. Okay. Or if I had lots of things in there and I needed to search, I can now search for it by name and call it Idaho. I can search by keyword and say counties, and it's there. Okay. But now I've got that map in there, and I can use that over and over again in my classes. Okay. This step, and I think this will be our last one for the night with RM Easy Teach. But notice when I brought that in, it was small, and maybe a little bit smaller. Okay, so I'm going to resize it. But I want to make sure that that's a nice, accurate map of Idaho and things aren't stretched out or anything. So this is where I can, I should be able to do my lock, and that's just horizontal and vertical. Okay, so never mind on that. If I click here, if I click on that corner, if it does what it should do. Yeah, if you hold down, I'm holding down my shift, and that aspect ratio to be. Okay, so there's my map of Idaho. Now it's resized. Well, if I want to use that again, and I come to my multimedia resource, it's going to bring it in. Okay, so let's say I don't. I want to use this nice full-size version of it. Then that's where. Oh shoot! I deleted the whole page. Can I undo that? Nice. Okay. Make sure I'm clicked here. Delete that. No, I don't want to delete the page. I just want to delete this thing right here. I don't know why that's staying on that page. There we go. Okay. Sorry, I had it clicked over here, so I had to click over here on this screen to come over here. Okay. So now I've got the full-size map that I want to use. This is where I can use this other option, which is called the scrapbook. And so I think if I click on it here, that's duplicate, that's opacity, add to scrapbook. Okay. So now I can add it to a scrapbook, and now I can quickly come here, click on my scrapbook, and click on this one, and insert it at that same size. Okay, or I could add that full. Also, I could add a media bank too. So I can click on this. I can say add a media bank, and now give it a different name. Now, one thing is, notice it's changed the name on it. It's changed it to I'm an Easy Teach file, but I can say I can change it to like a big map of Idaho, and do the same thing. Okay, so that's how you add pictures in. So you can copy and paste them in, but if it's going to be a file, or you can add them from your pictures on your computer. But if it's going to be a file that you use frequently, then I would really recommend them into your multi. And again, each step is telling you to do it. You just use that here, and then it right into your drawing or into your Easy Teach presentation. It puts it into your media bank, and you always have it there to go back and pull it again. Okay, so that's my wrap on RM Easy Teach for the night. Any questions on RM Easy Teach? I just need to take a few minutes and cover a couple things in my big campus. But any questions for me in RM Easy Teach before we switch gears? Okay, we're good to go, Cliff?
Sounds like we're good here.
Give me a thumbs up. Okay.
We're pretty overwhelmed, but.
Oh, are you?
We have
okay,
one
well,
question. Hang on.
That's really all the new information I'm going to present for the rest of the class, except for this last little part I'm going to do in my big campus. And then the next 2 weeks are going to be really Q&As and reviews. And then the last week will be you showing us what you've created in RM Easy Teach. So I'm just going to come back into my big campus quick.
What was your
I wonder if I
question?
lost it.
This class? Yes, this class will be put on. Yes, yeah, we'll get it on there.
Yep, class, and so we'll have that posted on our group page. Now this one, it might be something you play with, but it may not. But I'm going to at least show you how to do it, and that way you'll have it for future reference. But in my big campus, in addition to doing the announcements and the discussions and those kinds of things that we've done, you can have students actually submit their assignments to you electronically. And so up here, there's an icon for schoolwork. So you can click on that. And we are going to create a new activity. And actually, I had 2 of you submit things to the last one, so that's great. Okay, so I'm going to come here. I'm going to create a new assignment. And our title is Teaching with Tech Final. And our due date will be our last day of class, which is the 29th at 4 o'clock. Okay, and we're going to assign it to a group. And so it's going to go to our Teaching with Tech class. Okay, and now I'm for the assignment. So we're going to create a lesson in RM Easy Teach, and I'm going to put or equivalent there because I know with our middle school teachers they may need to do this in Smart Tools instead of RM Easy Teach. Okay, that includes at least 4 of the following items, and I wonder if it's going to let me. Be interesting to see if this works or not. So we're going to say we want to do a text box or line. We'll do a shape. or drawing tool. We'll do a widget. Special effect. Text box or line, shape, or drawing tool, widget, special effect, or picture. Okay, so 4 out of those 5. That's a piece of cake for you guys, isn't it?
You bet. We'll have that right to you.
Okay, and we'll go ahead and allow people to resubmit the assignment if they need to.
Yeah.
We'll
2 or 3 times.
we'll create a discussion with the assignment, and so what that'll do is you will we'll have a discussion page where if you have questions or comments about things, then we can post those there and we can go back and we can answer those. Okay, and I think that's pretty. Everybody in the group has already joined. I could click this one, and that way people happen to join our group late, then they could still submit it. But if they haven't joined our group by now, then has anybody not joined our My Big Campus group? I guess that's probably my best question to ask. Is everybody in class have they officially joined our My Big Campus group, I hope? Okay. If not, I'll come back and I'll revise that. But I better put in my maximum points. How many points do you guys want for that? Like 10,000? So we'll do 10,000 points for doing that assignment. And then we can create the assignment. Okay. And now for you, when you log into My Big Campus, you should be able to come under schoolwork and see that assignment and then submit. And when you submit it, you should be able to upload the assignment to it. Now, I have had some issues sometimes with uploading the assignment, and so if you can't actually upload your assignment, we're planning, like I said, doing that last class is really a demonstration class, and so if you can't get it uploaded, we're okay. But remember that one's not popping in.
Mine's not popping in.
Oh, maybe it's still pending. What did I put in for the start date for that?
This one.
That's interesting.
You gotta click on the
Reading it? Huh. Could have sworn I submitted that, didn't I?
I found it.
Oh, you found it? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So, if you can upload the file to it, great. But I don't know what it is about Easy Teach, but even when they get uploaded, it's like a ton of work for me to download them. But I'd love it if you could upload them so that we could try to share those with other folks as well. Okay? Pardon me?
How do we upload them?
Cliff, let's make Cliff the presenter. And so Cliff, can you log into My Big Campus? And I'm going to switch back to you so we can see your screen, because where I created the assignment, I'm not going to be able to show you that. So I'm going to flip over to Cliff here. And apparently Cliff's checking out the news.
Gotta adjust my screen really quick. It's set for dual monitors.
Oh. I can see it fine.
I didn't get the special.
Okay, it should show up there in just a second.
Scott, are you sure you want that to be worth 10,000 points?
We can make it 1,000,000. I mean, it's really kind of irrelevant. So it's our only assignment for the whole class. It's really make or break.
Okay.
Answer them.
The day before the
The
day.
day before.
So, as Cliff's booting that up, so my plan for the next 2 weeks is really for you guys to start on that this week, and I'm expecting nothing but tons of questions next week, because there always are. And so get in and try it, and just notes on where you're breaking down or where you don't remember to do things, and next week we'll just do a total review of everything we've covered, and then the following week we'll do our presentation. So as long as everybody jumps in and tries it this week, we'll be just fine. If you procrastinate and we don't do anything this week, then it's going to be tough to get those presentations knocked out the following week. Okay, so yeah, if you click on that one.
Yeah, so if you click on schoolwork and then go to the tab that says assign to you, you can click there. Here's our assignment, the Teaching with Tech Final. You click on that. And here, you know, if you just were going to write an answer, you could put something in there. And then as far as attaching items, you can just, you know, if you had something in your library or whatever, but you can just hit new file. And then you can either, I think you can sometimes drag a file there. Then you can just click here to upload your files. And, you know, go to your computer, find the file that you're going to upload, and hit it. It'll put it on there as an attachment. And then once you do that, you want to make sure you come down here and hit submit assignment, and then that'll actually send it. So we'll just do a test here. So for this, yeah, we would have uploaded.
You can go ahead and upload it because we can resubmit it. So if you want to go ahead and upload some type of file to it.
Whatever this is here.
Please watch this movie that I got from YouTube.
Yeah, and then you can hit submit assignment, and then it.
Now, I will definitely count a YouTube movie that you can link to in your presentation. That will definitely count as one of those things. So definitely include that.
Then you can go over here on the Your Submissions tab, and eventually it should show up there. Maybe, oh, I've got show graded. So once he graded it, it would show up there. So right now it's not. It's probably takes it just a minute, just like when he assigned it to show up. But eventually it should show up there. And yeah, once he grades it, or you know, if your students were looking at this, they could see what you've graded and see how that is. Then I'm sure Scott will export the grades to Power School for this class.
So, okay.
I'll give you back control, Scott.
No, I'm great. I'm wrapped up there. So, any questions on that then? So again, no new content next week. We've covered all the new content that we're going to cover. We'll just review and answer questions next week, and then the following week we'll let you demo your assignments to us. Sound like a plan? Any questions for me? Okay. Well, thanks very much. Good talking to you. I look forward to seeing you next week. Good luck in your church ball game tonight, Jared, and everybody have a great week.
Give me that email.
You want me to pull it up?
Yeah.
Could you post it for yourself?
Emails for the Lord, so. I don't like to know about stuff.
So looks like you're off the hook.
Is there no game?
So maybe I'll join you next week then.
Okay, I figured that.
Okay. Okay. Everybody have a great night. Thank you very much.